Happy Wife, Happy Life.
We're your hosts. I'm Kendahl Landreth.
And I'm Jordan Myrick.
And we're two incredibly unqualified,
but deeply in love comedians
who are here to help you navigate all things relationships. And we are just over the moon today because we have a friend, incredible, hilarious comedian here. It's Oscar Montoya.
And we're discussing getting back into the dating scene.
Ooh.
Can we do that one more time? You're doing a lot of extra stuff. That's not kind of part of what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you. Okay, love you.
Welcome to Happy Wife, Happy Life. We're your hosts. I'm Kendahl Landreth.
And I'm Jordan Myrick.
And we are two incredibly unqualified,
but deeply in love comedians who are here to help you with all things relationships.
And on today's episode, we're talking about getting back into the dating scene with Oscar Montoya.
Oscar.
Hi.
Hi. We've been laughing and before we even started on the pod.
It's been a fun time. It's been a kiki.
It's been, as some might say, a kiki. We're so happy to have you. Obviously, you're a good friend. You perform with us regularly on our gay dating show at the Upright Citizens Brigade Dating Game.
That's right.
You're so funny. You're such a talented dancer and comedian and actor. You were on HBO's The Minx. What do you have in the works now?
Nothing.
And I love to hear that.
And that's why he's here. He's kind of on a tour to get
He's
some
kind of like scraping the bottom of the barrel of
I'm here
activities
to promote my
do.
tour of doing nothing.
Yeah. I think that's great. No, but so, work, you're taking a little break from work.
Yes. Yeah.
You've been doing so much. I think that's so healthy for you. And now you're back on the dating scene.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. And that's scary.
It is
Yes.
scary because
And
you
that's
know
scary.
what? We asked you to do this podcast after our last show. We were like, Oscar, you should do the podcast about choosing to not date because Oscar, you had been single by choice for how long?
A decade.
Wow.
10 years.
Whopping years. So I said, come on the podcast, talk about choosing to be alone.
Yeah.
And then when I followed up with you a couple weeks ago, I was like, let's do it. And you were like, what? What did you say?
I'm kind of dipping my toe back into the dating pool, and I'm seeing someone right now.
Insane. So we had to change the topic.
What
Yeah.
was like, okay, before we jump into that topic, what was like
Yes.
your favorite thing about not dating for a decade?
Oh my God, it's so
Because I'm
easy.
thinking about doing it.
Now, is this an announcement? Is this an exclusive?
What was like your favorite thing you did?
I mean, okay, so 10 years is a very, very long time. Before that, I was jumping from one relationship to the other, and I have a tendency to be a serial monogamist in terms of like, I meet you once and I'm like, oh, you're wifey. Like my relationships have been 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. So it's like a long time, right?
Yeah.
After my last relationship, I was like,
And that was a 7-year?
that was a 5-year relationship.
I'm trying to do the math on it.
I'm old.
How old are you?
I'm old. How old do you think I am?
Well, 27. I'm not
I
even kidding.
mean, well, if I just met you randomly, I'd be like, he's 28.
That's wow.
But then since I know you and I know you've been in the comedy scene for a while, I'm like, he has to be at least 35. But you said 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. You took 10 years off from dating. I'm
What
like,
if we found out? What would you do,
are
honestly?
you 80 years
What
old?
if we found out he was 80 years old? That would be so funny. And we find out him dipping into the dating scene is going on The Golden Bachelor.
Yeah, I'm like, I normally would not just be like,
Surprise.
how old are you? But we've been friends for years. And I think I've always just been like, we're the same age, kind of.
I started doing comedy in my late 20s.
Okay.
Started.
I'm more confused than I was before.
Yeah. How old do you think I am?
28.
I'm not 28.
Okay, 38.
I would guess 38.
No.
That's what I would say.
No.
57.
48?
Wait. 52? 46.
You're not in your 50s?
No, you're not in your 50s.
No, I'm not in my 50s.
Okay, you're
So
doing
you're in
this
your
weird
40s.
sexy
I'm in my
slip fight.
40s, yeah.
Well, that's
Okay, that's
40.
like not weird at all. I think sometimes just in comedy you get this weird state of Arrested Development.
I think so too. Yeah.
You assume that everyone is. You're like, we're all 18.
Yep.
everybody get on your skateboards. Like
Yes,
for some
very
reason,
that.
it's that like vibe. Do you know what I mean? Like you just feel very youthful.
Yes, especially because like now I feel like comedy leans towards a younger set. It's either you're like a contemporary or you're like Jerry Seinfeld. You know what I mean? It's like either you're 20 or 600 years old.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you're not that, it's like, well.
It's funny though, coming from, I talk to Jordan about this all the time because when I went to school for acting, and when I was there, I was 18 years old, and they were like, so you're kind of like retired. Like you're kind of like not gonna make it, you're so old.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool. And you just already felt so behind. And then there were some people who were starting acting college at like 22, and they were kind of like, yeah, I mean, like it's gonna be hard with your age. Like you're just really old. Like
Isn't that crazy?
that's hard. And then it really boosted my confidence going from that and being like, well, I'm already so behind. So then when I started doing UCB at 18, people were like, well, you're like an infant baby. So like in like 20 years, maybe you'll book something if you're like really, really talented. I was like, wow, I have more time than ever. This is amazing.
It is wild. There is no, I mean, what age is so silly? It's so silly. There's no timeline. I also had like a full-on other career before I did comedy. I was a professional dancer in my 20s.
Which is so rude to be so good at two different things. Because you're an incredible dancer.
When you were in dance class,
That's really sweet.
I
Thank
feel
you.
like dance class, you have to be so like quiet and serious and cool. Were you like the comedian of dance?
No, not at all. No. I started doing comedy because I had really bad stage fright as a dancer. So I took improv because my friend, because while we were auditioning for like commercial dance, every single time there's like, you have to do like freestyle, like 16 counts of whatever you want. And that's when I fully panicked. I didn't know what to do. I could do choreography really well, but when it comes to doing your own thing, I was like, the focus, it was just like too much. So like it got to a point where I would straight up stop. I just stopped auditioning for stuff because the stress was like too much because I knew that a freestyle thing was going to happen. So my friend was like, you should take an improv class. And I was like, absolutely not. No way. I'm not funny in that way at all. Like, I've never done improv before. And he was like, oh, don't worry. Like, there's people who, like, will take it just for fun, you know? There's lawyers and whatever. Blah. So I was like, okay, fine. I took it, and everyone wanted to be on SNL. First day of class.
Really?
And then I left.
This is in LA or New York?
This was in New York.
Yeah.
This was at UCB in New York.
Who was your teacher? Can I ask? Your 101 teacher?
No.
Jesus Christ himself.
Yeah, seriously. Because I had such a panic attack that during the break I left and I didn't come back for 2 years.
Got it.
So I was just terrified. But I was obsessed with improv. I was just like, how are these people making stuff up like this? This feels crazy to me. Yeah. So I went to see every show, studied every single thing. And after 2 years of like just going to shows, like meeting people in the community, I was like, maybe I should go back to doing it. And I did it at another theater that was less intense than UCB in New York because at the time that place was very intense. Everything sort of clicked for me, and that changed my whole trajectory.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow.
That's so
unbelievable.
But to be like funny, no.
That's
not at
wild.
all.
You're
No.
like the funniest
You're
person
so
I've
funny.
ever met.
And you're
Seriously.
so good at improv.
Oh my gosh, that's sweet.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you're literally a famous actor on TV.
I think it comes from like just being so trained as a dancer of like getting everything correct.
Yeah.
That for me, it was like I had to understand comedy for me to do it.
Sure.
Yes.
Which maybe isn't like the best way to do it or like the healthiest way to do it, but for me it had to make sense. I couldn't just like jump in, which is so antithetical to like what improv is about, but I had to understand it from like a far perspective, so then I could be like, okay, this feels fine. Which, I mean, not to like loop back into the dating
Please
field,
do.
but that was a lot of my experience
that.
after being single for so long. It was like, I loved it. I was comfortable with it. I was like totally fine. But then after a while, you sort of get used to this idea of like being alone.
Yeah.
And then you start feeling a little panicky about like, am I going to be alone forever? Like, is this normal to feel this way? Like I was thinking for a while, like maybe I'm asexual. Maybe that's just part of my identity too. But it was just so far removed that I was like, I need to contextualize this for me to make sense.
Yeah.
And then this thing just kind of happened magically.
So you didn't make a direct decision to be like, I'm going to start dating again. You
No.
like, met someone and were like,
Yes.
oh, whoa.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That's magical. Okay, we have to backtrack because normally we start off an episode with a little chat about the week.
Yeah.
But since we're already so far into it, I want to know what's one thing you did this week to get yourself back into the dating pool, to get back in touch with your romance.
You know what? I started buying clothes that I felt, because my birthday's coming up. My 70th birthday's coming up. And I was like, I get absolutely feral around my birthday. I don't ever spend money on anything except around my birthday, the week of my birthday, where it's like, money, what is that? And I just start spending stuff.
I love that.
And I don't ever shop online.
Yeah.
And I started buying clothes online that I'm like, I think I'm going to look hot in this, which is something that I never think about. That's not a qualifier in the way that I dress. But I was like, I'm going to look hot in this. And by hot, I mean oversized T-shirts.
Sure, you can look hot.
Because that's where I feel comfortable. I mean,
I'm the same way.
Okay, you know what I mean?
Yes,
Shapeless. It's like, what's under there?
I feel like Jordan's
like
always amazed because I'll be like, I just did a huge order from ASOS. And then we look at it and Jordan's like, this is just 80 T-shirts. You already have so many of these? And I'm like, yeah, but like my nighttime T-shirts say like Death Valley Visitor. And then my daytime T-shirts say nothing. And they're really cool and oversized.
So you have sort of like a metric on what time of day you wear your clothing?
Well, I always sleep in T-shirts. So I think Jordan's like, when I'm like, oh, I want to buy this like $75 T-shirt, they're like, that's insane. You have so many T-shirts. But I'm like, if I was on like a rec basketball team, like that's a sleep shirt. I have seen people who are cool enough to pull that off as like a red carpet look, which makes me want to die, but I can't. But then, you know, a daytime T-shirt, it's kind of like we're cuffing more at the sleeves. But I don't think you always see the difference in that because you're like, these are just both T-shirts.
I'm just shocked by how much money you're spending on them. It's not so much that I'm like, I can't imagine how a T-shirt, but it's like Kendahl will be like, I just placed a $300 order from ASOS, and I really think this is going to kind of like be a game changer for me. And then I look at it, and it's like white socks, like white ankle socks,
frustrating. Do you
know and like black T-shirts. And I'm like,
frustrating. And I'm
have you ever heard of The Gap?
So I told you they fit different, but also it's so frustrating because, and I don't mean to blow up your spot, and I know you're going to be upset about this, and we're going to talk about this in the car. This morning, I was woken up early in the morning because Jordan needed us to have like 6 laptops out trying to buy Simone, what is it?
The Simone Rocha Crocs. And
$275.
Because I wanted to wear a pair of them to our wedding festivities, whatever they may be. I don't even have anything planned yet, but I was like, I want to wear these to our wedding festivities.
I want to see them. What do they look like?
Well, it doesn't
you said
matter.
Crocs, and I'm like,
it doesn't matter because they sold out literally.
Oh, no.
I'm not being hyperbolic. Literally within 5 seconds.
Because we were refreshing. It was like, it's not on sale. It's not on sale.
Resellers. I'm so mad.
But so sometimes I'm like, how is this double standard? Of course, I want to buy I want to buy expensive socks. But
what do you spend the most money on in terms of clothing? And I'll ask you the same question.
To be honest, I don't spend money on clothing. I spend thousands of dollars on food.
That's what you spend the most money on?
100%.
Okay.
I buy so much food and I eat out so much and it's really bad. But I would say I spend the least on clothes in a way that I'm like, I need to. But I think I panic because I feel like I don't have
I don't know if that's true.
I think I'm getting better, but I think I used to like panic and be like, I have no clothes because I wear like bike shorts. I wear like what I'm wearing now every single day. Honestly, this is kind of an upgrade because usually it's just like a T-shirt. But then I'll panic and be like, I need like nice clothes, and I'll buy like a gown from somewhere, or I'll be like,
just wear.
Or like I will walk up to Jordan and be like, I need to buy Prada sunglasses, and Jordan's like, maybe let's start with pants. Like you could buy pants.
Yeah, kind of like I have nothing to wear. I should buy a $600 pair of Prada sunglasses, and I'm like, no. That's
I like don't get it. I think I'm getting better.
I think you're getting much, much, much better, and I think you do spend money on clothes. I think I just buy. Like, I will buy, like, one article of clothing, like, every couple of weeks because I like fashion, so I'm, like, paying attention to, like, drops and collaborations and, like, whatever, which Kendahl doesn't care about. And then Kendahl will buy one big boatload of clothes, like, every 6 months, but you also almost exclusively wear my clothes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm kind of responsible, you know, to go out and
real
get all
talk.
the clothes.
How do you feel about Kendahl wearing your clothes? Because that's a point of contention for a lot of couples.
No, it's a point.
It's a point of contention in our relationship.
Really?
Kendahl wearing them is not a point of contention.
Kendall
is
okay. I'll tell you right now.
You know what I'm gonna say. Kendahl is a sloppy Sally, big time. So Kendahl will be like, "Can I wear this shirt that you just bought and you haven't worn yet?"
Every night I take off my clothes and I soak them in a bucket of Dawn dish soap. And I
But that's new.
Like they're
Yeah.
oiled
Because-
stained
yes.
ducks.
Because
I'm,
yes,
like,
there's
at the
been
movie
like
theaters.
BP has taken to Kendall's clothes. Because this is the thing. Kendall is so thoughtful, but for some reason, like that being thoughtful in that specific way just like does not come natural to her.
I think
So-
something's wrong with me though. Like
Yeah,
actually, I think
100%.
something- I think something I will literally go to drink something and I will like because I'm doing the act of drinking, I will forget to open my mouth.
And
I
there will
will
be
pour water
9,000 people in
down
the
my
comments
shirt.
being like, that's an ADHD symptom. That's an ADHD symptom. So then Kendall's like, well, it's fine because it's an ADHD symptom. And I'm like, okay, well, you
I'm
spilled
always
red.
looking for something.
You spilt red wine all over my brand new shirt that I have never even worn.
Wow.
So that's my thing. I love when
Yeah.
she wears my clothes. I'm so happy to like buy clothes that we can both use. I'm also very into sustainability
Yeah.
and things that are useful. So if I can buy one shirt and both of us can wear it, I love that. I don't like it then when Kendall wears it and then spills something all over the front and
Then
then
you
puts it in
can't
the
wear it.
bottom of the laundry bin, and then I find it 4 weeks later and like Velveeta cheese is like caked into a cashmere sweater. And I'm like, why didn't you say anything about this? And she's like, I don't even know if I did that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I've
I
never
really,
worn
it's
that.
really bad.
And you
I'm
were
really
eating
bad.
Velveeta
I love
cheese.
it.
So
I don't know. Well, for a
Who else
while
would
you
it
thought
have
it was
been?
cute. I would do this bit. Jordan would be like, someone like Kendall, why did you?
I do like this bit. I think this is funny.
But you've slowly thought it was less funny.
I'm still
I
mad at
thought
you,
for
but
a
I
while. I
think
said
the bit
I
is funny.
cracked the case on. I cracked the code on this one. But Jordan would be like, "Oh, you put this in the dishwasher. This is hand wash only." And I'd be like, I am so sorry. I'm like really pissed off. Like I'm gonna find out who did it, and I'm gonna
mad
like.
for you.
I'm like mad
She's
for you.
like,
Like
I'm
I
gonna
will
find out
find out
who
who
did
did it, and like don't worry because like
Seriously.
I'm like going to find them. I'm gonna call. I'm like, and Jordan, it's funny.
I think
and
it's funny.
It's
then
very
now-
funny.
But then now you're like, okay, but seriously, you
It's
did
you.
it, and you know it's not. I'm like,
Like,
what?
I love that. Like, I love that we're laughing, but also I need you to fix this thing. So yes, I love sharing clothes. I'm just like, I need you to step up and also take care of them. Or at the very least, you don't even have to take care of it. You can just be like, hey, I wore this tonight. I spilled red wine on it. Can you get the stain out?
Yeah.
I'm happy to do it myself. I'm just like, it has to be acknowledged and handled by one of us.
Now, would you ever wear Kendall's clothes? And have you?
I don't have very good clothes. No,
That's
I
not-
really don't.
Kendall, that is not true.
Thank
I
you.
would wear every piece of clothes you got on.
Thank you.
What's she wearing? So those are my shoes. We bought this jacket
You have
together.
the same shoe size? Are you serious?
Well,
Yeah.
you know what? Well, we used to not. We used to be one size apart, but now Jordan has to wear medical insoles.
right.
Now I have to wear medical orthopedic insoles.
Which
so,
leads me
so
to
now
the-
we're in the same shoe size.
Which
Oh
leads
my- it's
me to
actually
what
been really
you
helpful.
spend the most money on, which is shoes. You
I
spend
spend
the-
those money. Well,
Okay.
I love shoes, and then also recently I've had to fully revamp my shoe closet. I
Right.
don't have a shoe closet, but my shoe
Shoe
wardrobe.
closet,
Yeah.
okay.
We live in an apartment.
They got
just
that
to be clear.
Spotify money.
Yeah. Thank you, Spotify, for letting us film here for free. But so I've had to redo all my shoes because I can only wear these like hefty orthopedic insoles now, and for the most part, I can only wear Hoka Clifton 8s.
Which are
Yes.
Expensive.
So, but my thing is when I buy a thing, I have to sell a thing or I have to donate a thing. So I take my stuff to Buffalo Exchange or Crossroads. I am an active Poshmark user. Please check out my Poshmark and buy anything from it. No, I don't like Depop.
Okay.
It's too much work. First of all, there's too many scammers.
Mhm.
There's too many like literal children that like have their parents' phone that are trying to like buy something from you and don't understand how anything works. And then also like Poshmark is just like easy and neat. They give you the shipping label. I've never had any problems with it. I would love for them to sponsor this podcast.
You
I'll say
listening?
it.
You remember when I got in so much trouble on Depop?
For doing what?
Well, imagine I'm like scamming elderly people.
Yeah.
It's like so bad.
So you know
I
what
am-
Jen
I am
Shaw
that
is in
kid, yeah.
prison for, yeah.
No, I just like this was so early on in us dating, and it was like I eventually I had like well, it was one of those moments I was like, I have no fucking clothes. Like I'm so and I had like gotten my first check for a brand deal and was like, I'm like a fucking billionaire. Like I should
Kendall
have
was like $25,000 in debt.
and
just
I
to
was
be
like,
clear.
I need to buy.
Yeah.
And I went to our friend Colin and I said, I literally, this is the most embarrassing. I was like, what do like rich people wear?
So also to be clear, our friend Colin also doesn't have any money.
Well, I was like,
he like grew up poor and now works at just like a normal business.
I think
like,
I was
it's
just
not
like,
like
what do
and I
adults
love
I think I
Colin.
know Colin.
You know
Yeah,
Colin.
I know
I mean,
Colin.
Colin
Yeah,
is
yeah.
chic and elegant and
Yes.
beautiful and wonderful and has incredible taste. But it's so funny to go to Colin and be like, "What do rich
You look
people
rich.
wear?"
What do you wear?
Colin's like, "I work
I
at a
think
computer store. Like, what do you mean?"
I think I more meant what do adults wear? Like, what do adults? Because I got my first check. I said I need to buy something nice. I Googled all I could think
No,
of. I
you
Googled
didn't.
I just said Louis Vuitton.
Kendall
And
was
then I
obsessed
went,
with being
"Oh, wait,
like,
I
I
clearly
need a Gucci belt. I'm like, why?
I was so confused. So Colin pranks me.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know.
Not pranks, but he was like,
He was funny. I didn't get it. I thought it was real. He said Tory Burch.
No.
Have you ever
and
seen
nothing's
Tory
wrong with
Burch?
Tory Burch, but he was like, I think
Yeah.
Tory Burch is the height of luxury. You
Oh,
know,
oh, well.
but
And I
like
said,
Tory Burch
got
is
it.
great.
Yeah.
But I think that Kendall was like, that's what Jeff Bezos' wife wears. Got it.
Who I'm always trying
Kendall's
to
of course.
emulate. And
Icon.
so I went on Poshmark and I bought so many Tory Burch bracelets. Like
Bracelets. Still no clothes. Bracelets. We have now 4 or 5 Tory Burch
You
bracelets.
think dressing up is accessories?
Yeah.
That's what you think dressing up is.
Yeah.
Sunglasses, bracelets.
Yes.
No clothes. But
Wow.
every morning, Kendall's just, I don't have anything to wear. I have to wear all your clothes. And I'm like, please stop buying
But what do
bracelets.
I always wear? My Tory Burch bracelet.
And she does.
I
Always,
do
and
like
she
them.
still to this day
Not
wears those Tory
today.
Burch bracelets.
Not today, but I
What do
have a
they look
necklace I
like?
wore. They're perfect. They're like they're
Is it
different.
like-
Yes,
It
it's
has
exactly
Tory's-
what you're thinking.
It's
Okay,
Tory's
okay,
little
okay.
thing. On
It's
it,
a Tory. It has Tory's little thing on it. Aren't you friends?
yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry. We just told you
No,
about
I'm
every
obsessed.
clothing
I'm
item
obsessed.
we've
I'm
ever
obsessed.
worn.
I'm obsessed.
Okay.
But you know, rich people dress like you dress, like you normally dress. Just a t-shirt. I mean, there's presentational wealth.
How
and there's
many-
actual wealth.
How many rich people do you know? Truly rich people.
I know 4 people.
Who are
4
they? Just
wealthy people.
Yeah.
You know one of them.
I was about to say. I think there's
Yeah.
one that we all know.
Yes. Yeah.
God bless. God bless them.
God bless.
Good for them.
Yeah, honestly. Truly.
The other 3, I don't know.
2 from New York
Yeah.
and 1 from where I'm from, Colombia, South America.
And are you dating any of them now?
No.
Thank you for clarifying. It was South
Colombia,
America.
well, I will say Colombia, and they're like, oh, South Carolina. And I'm like, huh?
Oh.
Huh. Okay.
interesting.
Immediately, default answer.
That's not even a big, particularly large city in South Carolina. I
It's
feel like.
yeah, they refuse to think outside of the U.S. A lot of
Interesting.
Americans
That's
do.
very
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you know some rich people. We know one rich person. We also know Colin.
Rich in my eyes.
Who's rich in Kendall's
Rich in
eyes.
happiness.
You're buying clothes that make you feel hot.
Yes,
Did you get them?
I did.
Do you feel hot in them?
I do. Yes.
I love that.
But I have this weird thing where now this is a weird thing that I do for sure, is that I feel guilty about wearing clothes I just bought right away.
I actually understand
Really?
that.
Right?
I do.
Where does that come from?
So this is the thing. I like to keep my clothes nice because I want to take good care of them,
Mm.
but I am ultimately a person who is sweaty. So I also think that I am like, oh my God, I'm like wearing this thing and I'm gonna get it all sweaty and then I'm gonna have to wash it, and then with each wash it gets less
Yes.
nice. Like it's I think
Yeah.
it's anxiety.
Yes.
Well, because I feel like you always get upset too, because I'll be like, you'll buy a new clothing item that's so cute, and then like 2 months later, I'm like, so can I wear this? And you're like, I haven't even gotten to wear it yet. And I'm like, when are you gonna wear it? And you do the
That's
same thing
fair.
with poppies. Have you ever had a poppy?
What's a
The
poppy?
probiotic
It's a
sodas.
probiotic soda. And I bought one to
Every time.
try and I still haven't tried it. And
So,
it's
like,
been
3
maybe
months
6
ago-
months, okay?
You and I are very similar, Jordan.
Yeah. Do you have
I'm
generalized anxiety disorder?
Yeah, I think yes, I definitely do. Yes.
I
Literally
love
6
that.
months ago, Jordan was like, I love poppies. I drink them like once a day. Jordan was like, save the grape one, which I was like, fine by me, because that tastes like ass.
Do you like grape?
I'm obsessed with grape. Are
I
you
am too.
kidding
Yeah,
me?
Yeah.
It's a horrible flavor.
No, it's not.
Idiot.
So I was like, okay, I'll
What's
save
the best
it.
flavor?
Oh, strawberry lemonade.
Mm,
Okay, it's an opinion.
What's the second best flavor?
That's
a
crazy
poppy? I don't know.
No, in general.
Second best flavor, my mind goes to mango.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
What would you say?
Orange or lime?
Oh, a citrus.
I'm
of
a
course.
citrus.
Of
Citrus,
course.
I'm a citrus.
course.
Of course.
I'm a citrus.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. Best soda, besides Coca-Cola or like just generic cola flavor.
We're gonna have a different answer, but I have
You
a couple.
too.
Okay.
I'm a soda freak.
Me too.
Okay. Dr. Pepper is high up there for me.
Thank you.
Barks root beer is high up there for me.
Interesting. I'm not a root beer girl.
That's fair. That's fair. It's
Okay.
very specific. I like Barks and I like IBC, and then I love Abita. But they're not
A what?
Abita. It's a beer company that's from Louisiana.
Ah.
But they also make a root beer that's really good.
Okay.
But I love a citrus soda. I love Fresca. I love Squirt.
A squirt.
Does that exist still?
Squirt?
Yeah, squirt. Absolutely.
How do you think they're making Palomas without a squirt?
Honestly, I've never had one.
Good luck making a Paloma without a squirt,
Good luck
dearie.
every brunch or restaurant in the world. Are you gonna have brunch without Palomas?
There
and
was
you're gonna
a
have Palomas
girl.
without squirt? I don't think so.
There was a girl in my 7th grade class who had a squirt every morning, and I
that
never
girl
had
was
one.
me.
And I think I wasn't friends with her because it even just subconsciously I was like, something's fucking wrong with you. Like, your family invented this soda. I've never seen this anywhere else except in homeroom.
No.
What is this weird perverted soda you're
No.
drinking?
I love Squirt. I
Squirt
will
is a
say,
staple.
I used to come out to LA to visit my uncle who lived out here, and he always had Fresca in his fridge. And I was
Ooh.
like, that is magic California soda.
Mm-mm-mm.
We do not have that.
Fresca is not a thing in the East Coast?
I don't think so.
No.
I
'Cause I
grew
didn't
up,
have Fresca until I came here.
yeah, I grew up between Louisiana and South Florida
Okay.
and didn't have it in either one of
okay.
those places.
Okay.
What's your favorite? Name some more sodas you like.
I mean, Crush.
Love Crush.
I'm a big Crush.
Mm.
I like Dr. Pepper,
Yeah.
number 1.
Yes,
Dr.
yes,
Pepper.
yes,
and then
yes.
number 2, no joke. I know you don't like Diet Dr. Pepper.
I understand
tastes-
that though.
Mm.
I
because-
do understand.
I pranked you the other day because Jordan, this is always
Like,
Surprise.
actually, wasn't a prank at all. It was her being very sweet.
No, it wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be a prank.
Okay.
Miscommunication there. No, we went to the movies and we always have this issue because Jordan wants to get a Coke and I want to get a Diet Coke, but we're both like, oh, we want to share. And
Or
I'm
like,
like, well,
cola. Like whatever the drink is. Like I want the regular
Right.
version. Kendall wants the diet version.
You don't like the regular version.
I like them so similarly that I'm
Mhm.
just would rather get the Diet one.
You like diet.
I do. I like the taste of Diet Coke. Well, if I go 6 months without drinking it, it feels horrible. It tastes so bad. But I get addicted to the
Yeah, you
taste and it
love Diet
hurts.
soda,
I like
of
the way it
course.
hurts when I
You
drink
love
it.
diet
There's a lot of good
soda.
stuff about it.
I
But-
like the way it hurts.
I really do. I like that when I drink it, people are like, ooh, you're gonna die. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know. But I literally the other day got Diet Dr. Pepper because I was like, I want to see if Jordan can taste the difference. Obviously,
It
you
was
could.
Pib.
But sorry, Pib X.
Okay. Pib X. Okay.
Yeah. And you were like, oh my God, you got Dr. Pepper for me. That was so sweet. And I was like, it's Diet. And you were like, oh, I could taste the difference, but I don't know if you could.
There's a slight difference.
But it's not that bad, is it?
No, not at all.
Right.
Not at all.
Pretty good.
Yeah, because there is a huge difference between regular Coke and Diet Coke.
Mhm.
To me, huge.
Sure. Sure.
Also, cherry is such an sorry.
No.
Go
But
ahead.
I was gonna say with the cherry additive,
It's so
flavoring-
overpowering that
Yes.
it's just gonna taste
Exactly,
like that.
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
absolutely. This is a soda podcast now.
Surprise!
Leave your husband, get a soda.
I actually do think this is a good example. I think this is this is what it's like when you don't date for 10 years. You can just explore your interests
You have
and what
takes.
you like.
Absolutely.
You have takes.
You have
takes.
takes.
Okay, so you were like, I'm alone and I'm thriving.
And I'm thriving. I'm doing well. I was like, let me try being single for a while because I have never truly been single. It's been a span of a month or 2 before I jump from one relationship to the next. And when I tell you jump from one relationship to the next, I meet them and I'm like, oh, you're gonna be forever. You're gonna be the one.
You're romantic.
Not really. I'm more like of a
Practical.
practical
That's like
person.
me.
Damn, are we the same
I
person?
think so.
You're
I'm just
romantic,
very
Jordan.
practical. I mean, not to say that.
I'm romantic, but I'm
You
very
are- yes,
practical.
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm more romantic with you than with other people now because we're engaged. And you know what I mean?
Well, I would hope you're.
But no, you know what I mean? But a lot of
Yes.
times, when I'm meeting someone, I'm like, this is business.
Absolutely.
This is business.
I'm the same way. So I'm like, okay, it's just gonna be easier for the both of us if we
Yeah.
just
Lock in.
lock in,
Yeah.
focus,
Especially in New York,
and just
when
especially
rent
in New
is
York.
so
Yeah.
insane.
That part too.
Yeah.
That part too. That part especially maybe.
Yeah.
Even,
Yeah.
You know.
Love
that
is
part only,
incredibly
actually.
easy to find when you're low income and living in New York.
Exactly. So yeah, I was just like, let me just try being alone,
Yeah.
just to see what that's like, and it was scary. I have not been by myself in ever since I was 16 years
Wow.
old. You know what I mean? So I was just like, ooh, this is hard. Okay, like being in my thoughts, that's difficult.
Mm.
Okay. Not sharing sentiments, feelings, not having anyone to bounce off of. Weird. And then after that sort of unsticking, I was like, oh wow, okay, I'm feeling better about myself, blah blah blah. And then like I had a weird period. Oh god, this is so 2000 and late. That like I was like really self-loathing, really hating myself, really being like, I'm disgusting, I'm gross, I'm ugly, blah blah blah, all that stuff. And that was like, no one wants to date me. Ew, I'm gross. And then I went to therapy, figured that shit out. So then, can I curse here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Figured that out. And
So sorry, you can curse.
right. Figure that bleep out.
Okay.
And so, then naturally you're just like, okay, great. Now let's see the world.
Yeah.
But then you're just so stuck in the zone that it's hard. And then when I moved to LA, babe, I mean, first of all, how'd y'all find each other? Number one. You know what I mean? Because it is so difficult. Yeah. Specifically here is just hard with the intention of like, I just want to connect with someone for romantic reasons. Yeah. I have no problem connecting with people. I love connecting with people.
Yeah.
But for this, as soon as I throw like romance or like sexual attraction into the mix, it is like literal oil and water. Like I cannot figure that out at all. Like it just doesn't work. And so then I sort of like gave up for a long time. I'm like, okay, well, I don't need to be in a relationship to be happy, And then that was my vibe. That was my vibe until very recently. Yeah. And then I was walking home one night, and then there was someone walking behind me, like for like 5 blocks. And I was like, okay, what's going on? Is this person following me? It's like, 11 at night? It's like really late. It wasn't like I was scared because he didn't look very threatening.
If he was trying, it'd be so crazy if he like was trying to kill you, and then you like
to mug you.
Like, do you want to go on a date with me? And then you guys are dating. He's like, I don't know. Like I was trying to like kill him.
What if he's still trying to kill me?
Yeah.
What if he's just playing the long game? But I was like, I don't know what to do. I turned around and was like, are you following me? Because I felt like I could talk to this person. Like, if I could do it, like, even if it's like a little bit or something, like, whatever. With a smile, I said,
just a vibe.
Are you following me? Just a vibe. I was getting a vibe. Not like a romance vibe at all. But I'm like,
but you were just like, doesn't feel threatening.
Yeah, he seems cool. He seems, you know what I mean. And he was like very just like, what? Huh? He was like listening to his headphones. I was like, whoa, oh, sorry. Sorry. Whatever. And he's like, what? Sorry, what? It was weird. And
then you have to repeat yourself and go,
I was like,
are you following me is what I said.
But I was doing a joke because you've been walking. And he was just like, oh, I didn't notice actually. Which I was like, ouch. Okay.
You said, okay.
You weren't
You've
staring
been
at my
swinging your
juicy
butt?
ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For 2 miles, I've been sticking my butt out for like really
doing
far.
a lot of work.
You said, okay, he's straight.
Yeah, oof, ouch. No, he wasn't. But we found out that we live like 2 blocks away from each other.
Oh,
so we're just going home. And then we hung out. We like made plans to hang out. We hung out.
Wait. You're going too fast. So you turned around and you said, are you following me?
Yes.
He said, huh?
Yeah.
And then you guys hang out is what I'm hearing now.
Yeah, we're like walking home.
And so you start chatting.
We start chatting, yeah. So we just walk towards our respective homes.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, oh, that's weird. Because I've never seen him around. I walk around a lot.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, he's cute. And like, I haven't seen him around. That's weird. So then we made plans to hang out, and we did hang out. And I was like, is this vibes? Is this what this is? And I think he was very interested in dating from the get-go.
Yeah.
But he's like an introvert, shy person, which is like, that's my type.
Wow.
Yeah, and then we've been seeing each other.
And so how long has it been now?
Oof, weeks, like not a long time.
Wow.
Maybe 2, 3 weeks, maybe.
So are you now like the gates are open, I'm back in the dating scene, or are you dipping your toe and you're like, I'm just kind of investigating this right now?
Okay, now here is where I'm a little stuck.
Yeah.
And I need your advice.
And why have you
And we can't because this is a dating advice podcast.
Okay.
No matter how much we talk about soda, don't forget that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like my old impulses are
coming back.
reactivating. where I'm like, this is someone that I just met. This is like breaking the dry spell of a 10-year hiatus.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask you?
Yes.
Shut up. Before you start
That's
talking.
not a
Before you
question.
Let me ask you, was that an issue before? Like, was that the issue in the relationships in the past that you felt like that you jumped in? Or was it just true?
Or were there other issues?
There were other issues. I think what happens is when you're just, I think for the most part, I match with someone who has the same conflict tactics as I do, which is avoidant.
You are avoidant.
Absolutely. Oh my God.
We're different in
Really?
that way.
Really?
Yeah.
But how are you avoidant? How would you feel? I'm not saying you're not avoidant, but like,
Okay.
in
Okay. Speak my
I'm
truth.
a psychiatrist.
And she will. And she will.
I love to do it. How did you get in so many relationships that went on for so long?
I think what happens is I will meet someone and we are friends.
Yeah.
And then my very first boyfriend that I ever had was someone that I've known for a while. And one day he was like, what if we started dating as a bit? And I said, haha, okay. And we did. And it was a 7-year relationship. So, yeah.
My
bad,
So
God.
that is what happens.
That
where
actually
I'm
isn't
just
avoidant
like,
in a way I've never heard before.
It's new.
I mean, a lot of it is like, did he do that to sort of like, has he never dated a guy before? And that was his
Yeah.
way of maybe asking me out.
I'm sure.
Yeah, 100%, you know? But again, I'm just very much like, whatever
Yeah.
whatever the vibe is, like,
Don't
whatever.
do that. No,
you
that's
know?
bad.
Yes.
That's
And maybe I
bad.
haven't questioned, like, what is it that I want?
Yes, you have to think about what you want.
Mhm.
I think there's nothing wrong with jumping into the pool with both feet. I think that can be so great. And I think that some people will force themselves to randomly date just for posterity. I don't know what it is.
To
People-
feel like they can say, I'm doing the healthy thing.
yeah, I'm doing all I'm dating around. I'm
Mm.
not putting all my eggs in that basket.
Yeah.
I think there is nothing wrong with wanting to put all your eggs in that basket. I think there are a couple things. Is it a basket you actually want?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're looking for
Wicker.
a wicker basket and this is a
What other kind of
Easter
baskets are
basket.
there?
This is an Easter basket. You're looking for a wicker basket and this is an Easter basket.
From CVS, and it's very tiny.
And it's already full.
Wow, okay.
So you have to say, but truly you have to be like, is this a basket that I want to put all my eggs in? If the answer is yes, great.
Mhm.
Then be like, am I putting my eggs in a healthy way? Am I just dropping my eggs in? Not good.
Why are
eggs
my
will
eggs
break.
going in? Can
Yeah.
I not carry my eggs? Are they too heavy?
Wow, we're saying
I
eggs
feel
a
like
lot.
Kendall's like making fun of me
No,
for
I'm
my
not.
egg analogy now.
No,
and I
I'm
actually
not.
think it's
I
really
literally
good.
thought mine was good. I said, are they too heavy? Do you have so much
Are
that
the
you need
eggs
someone to
too he-
Well, why don't you listen to my analogy for 2 seconds?
I'm done. I'm
Why
listening to
don't
it
you?
today.
I'm saying if your eggs are so heavy, you need to hand someone else your eggs.
Uh-huh.
You got too many eggs.
Yeah.
And you need to put them with
Somewhere
a
Okay,
therapist.
I'm back with Kendahl. Or did you meet someone
Yeah.
where you're not saying, I need to put my eggs somewhere. You're saying, I would like to share my eggs.
Mm.
So you have to find out if this is someone you need to take your eggs or someone you want to share your eggs with.
Okay.
And you want to be sharing eggs,
Right.
not unloading eggs you don't want.
Right. What
And
if
you
I
need to
don't
make-
know?
That's fine. Then you can investigate it.
Okay.
But you should be in therapy.
Yeah.
And
Which you are right now.
Yeah.
Which you are right now with us.
Here.
As your therapist. And as all these people listening to the podcast
Of
are your
course,
therapists,
of
and they will let
course.
you know in the comments. No, I think there's nothing wrong with dating someone, but I think also like jump in both feet,
Mhm.
but also like start swimming once you jump in. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like
How?
just be aware of like red flags. Like don't just be like, oh, I've
Right,
jumped
right,
in the
right,
pool
right,
and now I'm
right.
soaking wet. Like
Yeah.
you can always get out of the pool and get a towel.
Mm.
I am a machine
Yeah.
of metaphor and analogy today.
Okay.
I've never been like
You're
this
just being
before.
inspired. That's all.
I'm feeling
That's all
like
it
I need to
is.
stand. No,
Because
but
I
you know
think
what I
that's
mean?
so much of it is that I'm like, I think once you become not afraid of like getting your heart broken, the
Mm.
dating scene really changes. Because sometimes I'm just like, I had my heart broken so many times.
Mm.
I've been dumped 100,000 times.
That's
It's just like, what's
that's
the worst that could
impossible.
happen?
Who, historically speaking,
Yeah.
have people dumped y'all or have you dumped people?
Every single time I have dumped someone because I have gone, it's clear you don't like me and I want to
Mm.
marry you so bad. So please, I'm going to
Do it.
leave. I'm
Yeah,
just going to
yeah,
walk
yeah,
away.
yeah.
That has happened. So it's like, yeah, I guess I've dumped, but it definitely felt like dumping. And let me tell you, there was no pushback on any of them. There was one time I did dumping that was just me dumping someone.
Mm.
But
I dumped once. All the rest have been me being dumped.
Wow.
and that was
But-
1 hour ago.
And it was 1 hour ago. And it was
This
10
is
and I
very
don't
hot.
want to
this
talk
is
about
actually
it.
interesting. Okay.
No, because I'm very much like, let's work through things. I'm like, if we have something special, like, let's work through things. And I've dated people who are like, let's just throw everything all away the minute there's a hiccup.
Yeah.
I've dated a lot of men historically before I realized that I wasn't bisexual and I was just gay. And so that was a thing where I was also dating people who were like not like didn't want to be in a relationship. Like maybe like I would date like guys that like we had fun and we thought each other were like funny.
Yeah.
But they had a lot of like baggage and a lot of issues, and I think it like made it hard for me to get close to them. And it's like, oh yeah, I wonder why I was looking for that. You know what I mean? Like, so I think there's like those type of things. But yeah, I've almost exclusively been dumped because I'm like, let's figure it out. And everyone I've dated has been like, I have to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then it's like you just realize you're like, oh, I'm fine. Like after, like I always, in fact, I feel like every time you're dumped, you're like, wait, like a year later, you're like, I've never been happier.
A good thing.
Yeah, and it's like,
Yes.
and you just realize like, no matter how special something feels, a year out of it, you're like, it wasn't that special.
That's so true.
Yes.
Because it just is like, even though like it is special, it doesn't mean it wasn't special, but it's like you can have that with so many people. And there are people I've dated that I was like, there is no one better. And I look back and I'm like, nothing they did to me, but there is no one worse. That person is like so like cringy. Like, what was I fucking doing? That over and over again, I think it can really hinder you in the dating scene if you're so afraid to get your heart broken.
Yeah, it like doesn't matter. I always say this, truly, I always say this to myself, to anyone who's going through hard times with relationships, any of my friends, they will tell you that I say this. There's only two options. You will either end up getting back together with that person because they were the right person for you.
Okay.
Or you'll find someone better. Those are the only two options. Like very, very, very few people just like die alone and unhappy. You know what I mean? Like you will find someone else that is a better fit for you. And every single person that I dated made me better and made it more clear what I wanted. So then when I met Kendahl, I was like actually ready to like get married, you know? So I think it's like, yeah, jump in with both feet.
How like soon did you know that you both were like right for each other?
Well, when we first started dating, Kendahl was doing some shit that was pissing me off, and I didn't want to break up with her.
Do you think you know what it is,
that felt like a
Kendahl?
sign.
Oh, I know what it was. I hear it every day. No, when we started dating, I was very anxious. I was very stressed out. But I am very like motivated to change. Like I think I can change very quickly. So I had a lot of like anxiety. I think it was one of those situations where like no matter how much Jordan affirmed me, there was nothing that would affirm me. And so I always had these like things where I was like, well, if you just did this, I would feel reassured. And then they would do it. And I would be like, let's pick something else.
Interesting.
And, but then I went to like really intense therapy and like spent a lot of time, not just therapy, like I would listen to podcasts about anxious attachment. I read a book about anxious attachment. I like did all of this stuff. And now I feel like I am very secure.
No, she's perfect.
And I think it, thank you. And I think it also is nice because even if you have like a really good relationship, I really don't think you can go back. Well, I'm sure people have done it, but it would feel so hard. I would never have a relationship like the ones I had before I was with Jordan if something ever happened. Like I would always just have, I could never go back to those ways.
Yeah.
Because it was so hard and terrible.
Yeah.
So I think
because you did work on yourself.
Exactly.
Aside
like I
from
would never
Jordan,
be the same in
right.
a relationship. Yeah. So I think that is always nice. You just like learn and grow from each one.
Yeah.
But I do think it is hard. But we knew very quickly. I feel like but I think it wasn't just like I knew about you. I think we were like in the same place. We both were like
place. We're also very aligned on things. So we were like aligned on like the type of lifestyles we want to have. We're aligned politically. We're aligned socially.
Morally.
We are aligned more. You know, all those things are like tied together. But it's like we were very aligned. We were aligned on like how we want to take care of our parents when we're older.
Wow, okay.
Like just things like that. So it was easier to just be like, oh yeah, all the sparkle is there, but we also it's a good fit in a lot of practical ways too.
Right.
And I think I'm very practical.
Which is important.
So that's very important to me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We have to you go. What were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say, because this is a great, I'm not to say that y'all are goals, but you carry a lot of like what I want from a relationship, which is like the perfect sort of marriage between the practical aspect and then the romanticized sort of like the butterflies in the stomach sort of feeling that you both have. I've seen you two together. You both work together. You both like hang out all the time, and it's so beautiful to see both of you just be yourself. Like there's
so
no
nice.
performance aspect of this at all. It just feels so genuine and real in a way that I'm just like, oh my God, these are two people who are so comfortable with themselves that allows them to be comfortable with each other in a really healthy way and so honest with each other.
Oh,
Yes.
thank
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
That you're not like putting
That's so
airs
sweet.
in front of
Thank you.
people. Like you're just fully being like, I feel like that's a really great quality. Because I've known Jordan longer than I've known you, Kendahl. But
we've
you've
known
always
each
been
other in past
I
lives,
mean,
so.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
We have to get into questions. 'Cause the
Okay,
audience-
but the one thing that
No,
I'll say
tell
is
me,
that,
tell
Jordan,
me.
you are so honest with people.
Thank you.
Period. That's always been your thing. That's always been your brand.
Yeah.
But like, it's this honesty that is so refreshing. I don't
Yeah.
know many people like you at all.
That's so nice.
And paired with you, you're like, your energy, your brightness is just like, it really is. Please don't get divorced or like break up or anything like
We
that
have
because
too many
I'm gonna look
entangled
stupid as
finances.
hell.
No, we have too many entangled
Okay, good.
finances now. We can
Good,
never,
good,
ever,
good.
ever
That
break
is
up.
very sweet. Thank you so
It's
much. You're going to
true.
regret saying it, though. Now in front of you, we're going to be like, baby, I love you. I know.
And then Jordan's gonna say, "Get off of me," and then I'll be like, "Oh."
Okay, we have our audience has a lot of questions about getting back into the dating
Oh,
scene.
Oh, great.
So
Do
they
you
want
have
to
it
know.
under
Okay.
control? Or
I have it under control. Per usual, I have it under control.
I love that because we'll just show Jordan her phone and was like, "Do you have it under
Like, don't even know the
control?"
lock. I don't know how to
You
get into my
literally
phone.
cannot even imagine us at an airport. That's what I'll say to you. Try to think about it.
I'm handing them my Subway membership rewards. They're like,
I'm like, that's not a
no,
boarding
that's not
pass.
it.
And I was like, is there a Benihana in here? I'm like, we are at the airport. Okay. How do you stop yourself from comparing your dates against your exes?
Ooh.
That's a good one.
That's interesting because I don't think of my exes.
Same.
They're long gone. They're ancient history. I think that there's a reason why you've let them go, and you have to recognize that these people are individuals that aren't a part of your past, you know? So let those ghosts go and treat that person as a new human being. I mean, obviously, if you catch yourself repeating some patterns that you're like, oh, this person is similar, that's on you. Those are patterns that you've created for yourself.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, reflect within and think less of your ex and more about what patterns you are conjuring up for yourself.
Totally. Yeah, if you're like always dating a guy who's like, you look just like my mom and I love that about, like, then yeah, if you like, oh, what's this about? But in general, because I do think I see that hurt so many relationships where someone will be like, and I have done this before, but where I'll be like, I always used to Jordan to be like, don't control me! Stop controlling me! And Jordan would be like, what do you want for dinner? And I was like, you don't need to know what I'm eating for dinner! I'm my own person!
I'd be like, okay.
And so I think it's
And then
like,
20 minutes later, Kendall would be like, what are we having for dinner?
once I took a breath. But I do think it's like, yeah, you can, even if you've had like a controlling partner, you've had a partner who XYZ is XYZ, you have to individually like assess this new person.
Absolutely.
Which is hard to do, but is so important.
How long should you chat in the apps before asking for someone's
Ooh.
phone number or social media account?
Good question.
Were you big on the apps?
I tried the apps for a minute. They
Okay.
all sucked. I've met some really great friends out of it, I will say. But my rule is that I don't ask people's phone number until I see them in person.
I think that's the rule. I
Yeah.
think that's a good rule.
because you just never know.
You never know if someone's safe. And even after a first meeting, you don't know if someone's safe.
Very
but I
true.
think you get a better read on it. If you have that first date, things are going well, I think then it's okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. The next question. Well, Oscar, this is very apt for you. What's a non-weird way of showing interest in a stranger?
Ask them if they're following you.
Turn around
At
and say,
11
hey,
p.m.
Are you stalking me?
find someone you think is hot, walk in front of them for $5. No, but what's a way that you would not feel weird about if someone approached you?
I don't know. I think the thing not to do is approach someone and say you're a fan of their stuff, which I'm sure it's happened to both of you. But that's like the easiest way to be like, okay, next, you know.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know.
But what would you say if someone was a fan of you?
Yeah.
And then, because I've had this issue before when I've been
What?
like out, not with dating, but just like meeting people where it's
Yes.
like, I'm not even a fan, but I like know you.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I don't want to tell you that because that's weird.
Yeah.
But then what if we then, worst case scenario, start getting like really close and then all of a sudden you find out like that I knew you. Do you know what I mean? So like, what if you started dating someone and then you find on their phone like, or you find a tweet from years ago they liked and you're like, so you do know who I am. And they're like,
Interesting.
sorry, yeah. That's creepy.
Would they be lying? Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I think I've always like, especially like if we go to events and we like meet people
Yeah.
that I obviously know who they are, it's like, well, because I am not, this sounds so annoying to say, but I could use some more social climbing attributes. I think I need to social climb more, honestly. It's so bad. Like if
I mean, that's just, yeah. Same.
I can't. I like cannot show it. I can't do
The
do it.
networking side of things.
It's so bad. I immediately am just like, I want to go home. Every event we go to, we're laughed at by all the what are they called? The people who do the hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah, all the waiters.
Because
the
they're like,
caterers
you're
are
standing by
always,
the door for 20 minutes. Like, we understand.
We just always end up chatting with the caterers for like 45 minutes. And
Every
we eat
time I know
100
their
orders,
whole
and then
life
we leave.
story, I'm like, okay, Janelle, like we have Janelle the caterer's
We have
number.
800
Oh, that's
Instagram
really
friends.
funny.
Yeah.
And then,
Vibe, though.
I mean, right, or Uber drivers, everyone, we're always like, and then I am just so bad at networking. But there have been times where we'll meet someone and I like, obviously I'm not like, I love your stuff, because I feel like that immediately makes the conversation weird.
Yes.
And puts it this
Because it stops the conversation.
I don't
It's
agree
like,
with either one of you on
Well,
that.
because I think
If you are, I would so much rather someone say, oh, I've seen you on whatever.
Mhm.
And then I go, oh, nice. And they go, yeah, you're super funny. I say, oh, thank you. And then we have a normal conversation. I don't want someone to run up and be like, I'm
that
the
doesn't,
biggest
like-
fan.
you know
No,
what?
because I'm not sick in the head like you, Oscar. Someone can tell me they've seen what I've done.
But
I don't
you know
assume
what it
you're
is?
obsessed with me.
You're a very lovely person. I do think there are people in LA where once you say, I've seen your stuff, I'm like, oh, I've seen your
That's probably
stuff.
true.
Sometimes I haven't even fucking seen it. I'm just lying to be nice.
To be nice, yeah.
Oh, I've seen your stuff. Probably because you are here. And they're like, oh, thank you. Do you want a picture? Like, people are sick in the head. Which is like, I guess it doesn't matter because now I know you're not a person I want to hang out with.
Yeah.
But also,
I think
like,
that's
it
good.
does feel weird. But I've also had moments where I just haven't said anything because I like didn't, I just was like nervous, or I was like, oh, I don't want to. And then they're like, we should hang out. And I'm like, for some reason, even though it literally doesn't matter, it's not like I have posters of them on my wall, but I'm like, I feel like this is a friendship based on lies and I can't do this.
Absolutely. I think as soon as you're like, oh, I'm a big fan of yours, there is a dynamic there that has solidified.
So there's a difference between saying I'm a big fan of yours and oh, I've seen you
Right,
to the
okay,
show
fair,
or whatever.
very fair.
That's a thing
Yes.
to me. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Wait, what was the question?
Yeah, what was the question?
What are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
You're so famous. It's like Haley Bieber is asking the question. We're like, oh
God. You guys, it's from Cher.
Yeah.
Okay, I think a good way to approach a stranger is just to be honest.
Oh.
I know Oscar was,
Okay.
saying I'm so honest, but I think always lead with honesty. So if I saw a stranger that I thought was really hot or whatever, and Kendahl was dead or whatever, I would approach them and be like, hey, I am single.
Mm.
You seem really cool. I
Mm.
love that book you're reading. And I like your vibe. I would love to take you out to coffee sometime if you're interested, available, single, whatever.
What if they're like, okay, yes, but I'm not single.
I would say, what do you mean?
Yes to what?
And then they would
Yes,
have
let's
to
hang
answer.
out. Let's hang out.
as
like,
friends.
yes. Or maybe they're poly or,
So if they're polyamorous,
Open.
I would say, I love that for you. That's not right for me.
Mm-mm.
You
So
don't
thank
think
you
you
for
could
being
do it?
upfront. No. So I would say, so thank you for being upfront.
I tried.
My therapist told me to ask. So
No, she didn't. Stop saying that. She did not tell you. I've asked her. She did not tell you to ask. I would be like, oh, thank you for being upfront about that. I think that's like not really right for me, but
Okay.
like it was so nice meeting you.
Mm,
Or if they were like, well, let's just hang out as friends. If I wanted to hang out as friends, I'd be like, okay, cool. If I didn't, I'd be like, you know what? I'm actually looking at a date right now, but I appreciate your honesty. Like it was so nice meeting you.
So you would be
Simple.
straightforward about like, I'm looking to date.
Yes.
I think that's the
Because
most important
I
thing.
see.
I
if
feel
you're
like
not, it's too easy for it to be confusing.
See, that's my problem.
Yes, because
Because
you
I
are
used to
trying
date
hang
people-
out.
Yeah.
And I think this is where I was so toxic when I was much younger and when I
Mm-hmm.
was dating, because I knew what I was supposed to say, which is like, I don't care about you to people I was dating. I knew I was supposed to be like,
Okay.
I knew I was
You've read
supposed
The
to be-
Pickup Artist.
I knew I was supposed to be like, we're chill. Everything
Yeah.
is fine. But that was like not true for me. I so wanted to be in like a relationship. I thrive more in a partnership. Like I feel like I just like dating is too much for me, and it's nice to just like, I really like having family. I like having a lot,
Right.
I don't, whatever. But so I would be like, I know we've only been together for like a couple months, so like I know it's normal for me to be like, I was always just being like, you don't need to commit. Like, you don't need to at
Yeah.
all. Like, why are you acting like I am like obsessed with you? Like, I literally don't care. But then it was like, that was not shown in any of my actions, because I
Right.
was also like, so we don't need to date, but like, I need to see you 4 times a week.
Mm.
Like, that is like what being friends is. Like,
Yeah.
and we also, I want you to meet my parents. And it's like, that is like not, you can't just say one thing and think another. I don't think either person in that situation is like doing anything bad. I
Right.
think it's just like what you want. And so I think with us it was really easy because I feel like this was after I read, because I did take a break from dating and was like, I need to take a minute to figure out what's wrong with me because I'm doing the same thing over and over again.
Okay.
And then when we started dating, I think I like on the first date it was like, I'm looking to be in a relationship.
So
And-
you knew right away. You're like, I want.
Not
this
with
is,
you specifically.
No,
I
no,
wasn't
no.
like, you are who I want to marry.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
just
yeah,
like, in general, what I'm looking to like move towards is a relationship. I'm not interested in like, you know, flirting,
fucking around.
fucking
Yeah.
around. It's
And
not
same
really
for
what I'm
you when you met Kendahl.
I think, we met at the very beginning of the pandemic, so I think it was a very confusing
Right.
time.
Right.
So I was kind of open to whatever. I didn't want to date her because she lived in New York and we were in the middle of the pandemic,
That's
so I was
right.
very skeptical.
I remember
But then
yes.
once I realized that I really liked her and we were really compatible, I was like, okay, great. So I was more open, but once again, I was honest about that.
Yeah.
I was being genuine about the fact of like, things are so weird right now. I don't know specifically what I'm looking for, but I'm not opposed to this, not opposed to this. Whereas I think sometimes people will say things like that kind of as a cop-out.
Yes.
To be like, well, I don't know what I'm looking for when they know for a fact they do not want to be in a relationship.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Okay, I have a great question. Should I go out with anyone or should I at least wait for someone who I find attractive? You're laughing, but I think it's a good question.
That is a
because
great
what
question.
if you are someone, especially if you're obsessed with looks,
Yeah.
and especially I think a lot of people will maybe date the same kind of person or whatever because they're really valuing looks.
The aesthetic, yeah.
I think for me, for my money, I think
My
you
money.
for my money, for what I'm spending my money
Which is
on,
a lot.
which is a ton of money. Tory Burch money. I'm like,
Enough. Enough.
well, my thing is like, you should be looking for a vibe
Yes.
more than actual physical attributes.
Yes, it's a package deal.
Yes. So for me, I'm like, I know that I don't want to date like someone who every day wears flip-flops. And that's the only kind of shoes they wear.
That's actually so mean because I literally wear
No, you
Well,
don't.
not
You don't wear
You
flip
No,
I
you
wear
don't.
slides
And
with
that's
socks.
different.
That's
every day.
different.
That's
different.
worse.
but
No,
listen to
that's
me. Listen to
much
me,
better.
that's
I
different.
totally understand.
If you don't live at the beach and
Yeah.
you wear flip-flops every single day, you probably have a different vibe than me and you probably live your life differently than I do. And that's also a choice you're making versus being
True.
tall, short, fat, thin, brown hair, blonde hair, black hair, whatever. I think if you find yourself looking for physical attributes, maybe try to let that go. Look
Yeah.
for an aesthetic, a vibe, a style, a way someone dresses.
Yes.
Those kinds of things to me I think are more important because those are things that people are choosing to put out there about themselves. If someone, I don't, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think that I don't think that there's anything wrong with picking people based on physical features, but recognizing that, yeah, I like someone with blue eyes. That's someone that I will only date, but then recognize the fall of that as well, which is like, well, you're not going for personality. Recognize that you're purely looking for an aesthetic partner, and that's
Based on physical attributes they cannot control.
Yes, exactly. And that's sort of like your deal. That's your
But I
that's
think
your
if you're
issue.
looking for a husband or a wife
Yeah.
or something in
Right.
between,
Yeah.
I think that's wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's gonna be such a one. I think it's like it's not gonna work.
Yes, if you're looking for more than that.
I think you can look for whatever you want, but you have to be honest with yourself about it, and you
Yes.
have to be honest with other people. If you're like, I am a gold digger, I'm like, I love that for you.
Yes.
I love that for you. Marry the world's oldest, worst man you can find.
With a lot of money.
With a lot of money. Marry someone who's so bad, so when he dies, you take all his money and you do not feel bad at all.
But that's
Do not feel bad at all.
beneficial. Dating someone that's beneficial. Dating someone with like blue eyes
Yeah.
is like gonna do is pointless.
But it's still like your deal. Whatever
Exactly.
your deal
So,
is.
like, for example, there are people, like, for example, if I have brown eyes, I do have brown eyes, and I
was about
only
to
date
say.
people, if I did, if I had eyes, and if I'm only attracted to people with blue eyes because, aesthetically speaking, when I'm walking down the street, I want me and my partner to have these specific eyes, and I have a vision for us in its aesthetic. then you have to recognize that you are purely aesthetic forward. There's no personality. Your relationship is purely presentational.
And you think that can be a healthy relationship?
I don't think it is healthy by my terms of what health is, but I think if you want to do it, I think there are some people who don't want something deeper. And I don't think those people should never be allowed to have connection or whatever. I think like people are looking for different things. But that's my example. It's like I was not looking to date someone just for money.
Yes.
If you are looking to date someone just for money, okay, great. Be honest with yourself and be honest with them.
And I think that's it.
Fine.
And I think that it's like recognizing, what do you need from a partnership?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do I need do you need like emotional sort of balance? Do you need like fulfillment in like a sort of like living together sort of way? Are you looking just for someone who looks nice by your side, you know?
Yeah, do you want someone who will like support you so you can stay home and
Yes.
be a stay-at-home mom or like whatever
That's
that
still a
thing
partnership.
is, whatever you need, like partnership, and especially like once you get into different cultures, like culturally,
part.
partnership can mean so many different things to different people. You get into different types of lifestyles, like polyamory, whatever. Like those things can all look so different. I'm not here to say what is and what isn't healthy for every single person on earth.
But tell us.
Well, because I'm an idiot. Like I don't know anything. But I think whatever you're doing, do it in the healthiest way.
Yes.
And in my opinion, that's being honest with yourself and with the person or the people you're entering a relationship with.
I guess to me, though, I'm like, if you're like, I know about myself that I want to date someone just for an aesthetic reason and I don't care about anything else, that's not like naturally how you were born operating. There's like something going on.
Yes.
there.
And I
100%.
think you should go to therapy. And I think you're probably racist, but I think that like you need to really work on yourself a lot, is what I will say in like a bunch of different ways.
But I think you need to know that. I think you need to know, like, I am a racist and I that's what I'm looking for. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and also that'll keep you from hurting other people.
Absolutely.
So I think if you're like, and I think that's sometimes like people are scared to share what they actually want or are looking for. And I'm like, if you're like, I'm just dating someone for money. And then you're like, no, that's not how I am. That's not what I'm doing. You're going to hurt a lot of other people along the way. If you're like, hello, I'm just looking to date someone for money, you can sync up with someone that's like, I got money. I need a hottie to bring to events or like whatever. That's a perfect situation.
That's a partnership right there.
That's a partnership.
That's what we did.
That's what we did.
That's a collab. That's
Kendall
what you want.
Barely has anyone I know. Kendall had negative money. Kendall owed the government money when we
It's
started
not good,
dating.
not a good situation.
Are you fine? Do you need...
She's fine now, but she was not fine for a long time. Okay, we have time for one more question. You
said help me.
Help me.
This is a good question. Wait, to preface this, how old were you when you came out?
16.
And how old are you now? Thought I could get him. I've never ever cared about anyone's age, but I'm like, we've been friends for so long, and then you're like, well, I've dated for 5 years, then 10 years, then 20 years, then I did a 25 year, and then I was single for 35 years, and I'm like,
But then you take away 3,
yeah,
and then you
do improv, which takes years, gives you years back. This person said, I'm gay, I'm 17 years old, and in June I turned 18. How do I get into dating at all? How do I start dating?
Well, it depends on where you live, right? Do you have places that are easily accessible to you? Do you have queer-owned coffee shops that you can go to? Do you have events that you can go to, you know? For me, it was, I mean, I didn't really date until college. So, or I didn't date same-sex partner in
Sorry, have you dated a man before? The way you said that seemed like I've never dated same
what if this
when
is all an
two
act?
boys kiss. Right?
I'm done. I gotta go. Gotta go to my wife. I mean,
we out him a straight. Okay, so you were saying college.
I think yeah, you just have to know your community, I think, and then just having those things available. If you are from a small town where that's not readily available, I think, honestly, the internet is a great resource to sort of like find someone, not just to date, but like community. Find community first, and within that community, then you can start looking for romantic prospects.
That is a great tip, I think. Find community first.
Yeah.
then within that you can find romantic prospects. I think that's so smart. Because also I'm telling you, your first gay relationship, you will break up and it will be absolutely devastating.
It'll
and
be tragic.
If you do not have community to back that up, you will not be well.
Yes. Do not, taken from all of us, do not infuse your whole being into one person that is part of the community.
I got fired from my job when I was 18 for crying at the cash register
Because
I had been dumped. Well, really, once again, I said, I'm breaking up with you. And they said, okay. And I said, I was trying to get a reaction from you. That was not real. Please. And then for months, I was like, please take me back. And I got fired I was a canoe rental. I rented out canoes and I got fired.
damn, that's lesbian.
I was going to say,
at the canoe rental
talk
shack.
about a community right
Because your
there.
girlfriend broke up with you. Yeah, find your
No,
nearest
it was
canoe rental stand. This gay person will be crying there.
The only other person who worked there was this old man who would he was the groundskeeper, and he was always like, my daughter's missing. And I was like, what? And then he would be like, oh, she's back. And then he would be like, she's missing again. And I was like, I'm going through a breakup. Please, someone help me. I can't do this.
It's so funny that Kendall's like, okay, your daughter's missing. My heart is missing.
Well, I was always like, what's the deal with this whole situation? Anyways.
Listen, being young and gay is weird, as you've heard from all of us just now. But I would say that I agree with Oscar. The internet is a great resource. And also, I think something that can be helpful is put out there that you're gay. And that's not a one size fits all recommendation. I know that not everyone is in a safe space, a safe place.
Absolutely.
I totally understand that. If you have the safety and the luxury of being able to be open about it, start flashing it around.
Why not?
Start being like, oh, I saw this gay movie last night called Love Lies Bleeding, and it reminded me so much of me. Whatever. Just start
100%.
dropping it into conversation with people, because before you know it, someone who you work with at the dog groomer will be like, my cousin's gay.
Yeah.
And then the two of you will be on a date, and you will hate him. You will hate him. But you will have met him, and that is a gay person in your arsenal.
That's very true. Here is the crazy thing to me in this day and age, still, that the default is het.
Can you believe? Do you think that's because we live in LA or New York?
No, I think that it's just in this day and age, the default is everyone is straight until proven queer, which is
100%.
Ew, really?
Yeah.
No, we should all be queer until proven straight. That should be the default.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's the life we live. That's the world we live in. So you have to show us, or not show us, but you have to say that you are queer.
Come out for Oscar.
I'm just collecting queers. Yeah. That's all I'm doing. I'm the Pied Piper of queer people.
Okay, the outfit is incredible. The outfit is incredible.
That's a good Halloween
when he's
costume.
working, the outfit is incredible.
That is a good Halloween costume.
Well, Oscar, thank you so much for doing the podcast.
Oh my gosh, what a blast.
We've absolutely gone over time, but we just love you. You're such a hoot and a holler, and you're so talented. And I mean, people, we'll keep you updated on stuff Oscar has coming up. I know you can see him in so many shows of the Upright Citizens Brigade. Where else can we find you?
You can follow me on social media at Ozzymo, ZZYMO, on Instagram, and you can Dropout is a cool place to sort of see me do stuff, and that's it.
Incredible.
Amazing.
All right, well, thank you so much, Oscar. We love you.
I love you so much.
I love you, Kendahl.
Love you. Okay.
Why are you embarrassed?
Kendahl, why did you look away?
I tried to kiss her before the episode. She wouldn't kiss me in front of Oscar.
Yeah,
which is crazy because Oscar's seen us kiss before. Kiss me.
Okay. Enough.
That's love right there.